Hi, I'm Erin McCurry. I'm a human capital consultant with DS Benefits Group, and I'm here today with Jim Blythen. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Aaron.
Jim is a senior account manager with our company, and his role is supporting our large group clients. As a human capital company, our mission is to provide services that help to attract, retain, and develop your employees. So today we wanted to talk about employee assistance programs and how they play a really important role in a comprehensive benefits package. I think when we talk about health benefits, the first thing most of us think about, and sometimes the only thing, is your medical plan. But wellness plans and EAPs do a really good job of kind of rounding out that wellness puzzle so that you're taking care of not only the physical health, but you're also supporting the mental and emotional health of your employees. So Jim, could you talk a little bit about what an EAP program is specifically and why it's so important, especially today?
Well, Aaron, EAPs were first formed in the 1940s, and they were based off of really one item and focused on that, and that was alcoholism in the workforce. From that point on, they continued to evolve, first of all, where they became much more comprehensive in terms of an individual's mental and emotional well-being. So it wasn't just one specific area of that. It became much broader. They in turn, though, continue to evolve to the point where they're at today, where they include a number of different areas, such as medical advocacy, legal and financial assistance and resources, child care, elder care, and so forth. So it's much more comprehensive and broad for a benefit as far as for the employees. They also offer areas for the employer as well, too, and those can include things such as management training and consultation, conflict resolution, supervisory referral services, and even areas along the lines of critical incident services that would be like, say, trauma in the workplace. So there's a lot of things that they provide to not just the employee, but also the employer, based on the premise that they're focused on the mental aspect of the individual. They could not be a more appropriate benefit that an employer could be offering to their employees at this point in time. With all of the stress and the anxiety that people are dealing with at this point, it really is a valuable benefit, again, that the employer can offer and say, we have this for you, please take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's a great resource. I mean, everybody handles stress differently, and there's so much change going on for so many people right now. So could you talk a little bit about how a wellness program and an EAP work very well together, just kind of hand in hand, how they complement each other?
Well, Aaron, EAPs, again, are mainly focused on the mental aspect of an individual, and that could be through various areas, but that's the core of what an EAP is, in a sense. And so when you look at that, but then you also look at a wellness program that employers typically offer, those programs are usually based on any one of a number of physically related activities. So it's really about physical wellness for the most part, not
Right.
completely, but by combining the two areas, you really are looking at the individual on the whole as far as their total well-being, and not just the body, but also the mind. And that's really following the premise of, the phrase that the body follows the mind. So that's why I think the two of them can work very well together.
I would agree with you. So there are lots of benefits for participants and a lot of different areas that they can really take advantage of the services there. But what about for organizations overall? What kind of benefit does putting one of these programs in place give to a company?
Well, from the standpoint of the employer's view, it certainly is going to, first and foremost, it should be of concern that they have a concern for the employee as an individual. So you look at it that way too, but obviously the employer is going to be concerned about productivity. So there are areas that you could look at, say, absenteeism would be one area that, there are studies done. I know there's studies done by the World Health Organization that indicate that depression and anxiety, those two areas alone, cost employers worldwide over $1 trillion in lost productivity. So when you start to look at things like that, you do realize that there is a link between, again, an individual's physical health and their mental health. So there's a lot of areas along those lines. There's areas such as turnover. But then there are a lot of positive areas that it can provide to the employer as well too, say retention, obviously higher performance levels, things along those lines. And all of those go towards creating, a better culture for the organization and increased employee engagement as part of that organization.
Yeah, I can see that there's not always that hardcore ROI that you're able to figure you do this and it's savings in this many dollars. Sometimes it's really just to elevate your organization, make it a better place to work. And when you talk about absenteeism, I think the other piece of that is presenteeism, where people are there, but if they're really distracted by stressors in their outside life, they really just aren't able to be as focused and as productive as you need them to be. So I think those are all really great benefits, but I think sometimes these types of plans are underutilized. What do you think the reasons are for that?
Well, I think some of the reasons could be, you could start with, say, there still is somewhat of a stigma attached to EAP programs. I think employees and individuals still think of them as solely being related to mental health issues. And so there's that stigma that is somewhat prevalent throughout society in a sense. And I think that area is slowly starting to fade away, which is definitely a good thing for society. I think employers, though, can also promote that as well and to the employees. And so that's something that the employer can do in terms of why they may be underutilized.
Right.
I think there's also the very important issue of confidentiality. I think a lot of employees still view the benefit as really not truly being confidential. And
I agree.
I think that that's something that you need to continually reinforce in communicating this program to the employees, that it is confidential and that none of the information does get shared with the employer.
Yeah, definitely. And I think sometimes employees don't really realize what's available to them.
Right.
It was, maybe it was discussed during an enrollment meeting, but at that point in time, they didn't have any need for that. It's kind of, out of sight, out of mind. But then when they do have that need, it's great for them to know that it's there. So any tips on making sure that we're able to keep those types of programs in the forefront of employees' minds when they do need them?
Well, again, going back to why they're underutilized, I mean, that coincides with communications as well, too. The employer really needs to do a better job, I think, of communicating this benefit to employees. So it's not just at open enrollment. It really is something that needs to continue throughout the year. And there are a lot of ways that an EAP program will help support the employer on that end, as far as there's flyers, there's posters, there's monthly newsletters. So there's a lot of different ways that the employer can continue to try to keep that benefit in front of the employees throughout the year and let them know that that benefit is there and that they're aware of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So really just kind of the stigma is going away. I think a lot more people are able to be open about some of the issues that they do have. Just making sure that your employees know that it truly is confidential, and making sure that there are multiple ways to communicate what's available to your employees. I think that's all very, very important. EAPs are also very inexpensive compared to other benefits that you could provide to your employees. So if you haven't looked into them, they're definitely worth looking into. And it's possible that you even have some of those benefits kind of embedded in your other plans you may not even be aware of. So if you're interested in finding out more information about how we can help you to provide an EAP for your team, please reach out to us. It has a big impact on employee wellness for not a very large investment. Thank you, Jim, for all of your help today. I think that was some great information. I learned some things I didn't know about the beginnings of employee assistance programs.
Well, thank you, Erin. This has been fun. Thank you.
It has been fun. It has. It's nice to see you again.
Okay.
Anyway, please reach out, visit our website. We're going to be posting this video there along with an FAQ. We've got a lot of great information and some great videos that we've put out in the last few weeks. So until then, thank you for watching and stay healthy.